I'd like to call this meeting to order with the invocation and pledge of allegiance by the Honorable Steve Stockman.
Let's bow our heads, please. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for our safe journey here tonight. We ask that you be with us, grant us the wisdom to make the right decisions for the citizens of this county. May we always seek your guidance on every issue we face. Be with everyone gathered here tonight and grant us all a safe journey home. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome all of you here tonight. Appreciate you coming out for county government, especially in the weather conditions that we're having tonight, but it's not near as bad as it could be if we were further up north. So, do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, do we have a motion we adopt the agenda as presented? Motion by Mr. Kane, second by Mr. Reeder, Mr. Scurry. All in favor? It is unanimous. With that slip there with Mr. Reeder, just want to say he does have COVID and he's out tonight, and just so keep him in your thoughts and prayers. So,
Mr. Chairman.
yes, sir.
I did talk with Travis today about 5 o'clock, and he's doing pretty good with it. He says he has a bad headache, runny nose, can't taste, can't smell. So he is at home.
I think he's watching right now on YouTube.
Oh,
What I
okay.
understand.
He's watching us on YouTube.
All right, glad to have him watching too. All right, with that, one of the things that I continue to say every time we do this, the honor of County Council recognizing Employee Service Awards. At this time, we will do that. Crystal Hazel, 5 years sheriff's department. Well, I guess, congratulations. We'll wait and get a picture up here, okay? Might have social distance with that. Magistrate's office, Gordon B. Johnson, 15 years.
Speech.
Oh, you ain't got enough time for me.
That's only about 1/6 of your life.
That's right.
GIS, Mr. Bob Ears, 15 years. Come on up. The guy who keeps all the little squares in place on the county maps. Thank you, I appreciate your service. Registration and elections, Shana Proctor, 10 years. Not you. Magistrate's office, the wonderful, outstanding Ron Halfacre and his wife, please don't disapprove me on that.
We don't believe that one.
Thank y'all. With all of us having to wear masks, y'all can't see the smiles that we have, but we do. We really appreciate the years of service that y'all provide, the consistency that we have within our county. It makes us feel very good to be able to recognize y'all, and also thanks to your loved ones who share y'all with the county, because I know sometimes you have to go over and above beyond the call of duty, and we do appreciate everything that you do. Thank you again. Item number 3, personal appearances. David Anzostica, CPA Rishin Anzostica, financial audit, fiscal year 1920.
Good evening, everybody. My name is David Anzostica. I'm a CPA with the firm of Rishin Anzostica. We're here to go through the audit report and financial statements for the year ended June 30th, 2020. If you'll turn in your packets to pages 4 and 5 of the report, you have the independent auditor's report. We've issued an unmodified opinion, meaning there aren't any material modifications or problems noted. This is the best opinion we can give. If we had any modifications, we would let you know of those problems, but we have none, so that's always good. Pages 7 through 18 are the management's discussion and analysis. I would encourage you to read through that. That's what happened during the year financially from the viewpoint of management. I'll give you some of the highlights. Turn to page 20. This is a statement of net position. This is a balance sheet. This is on the accrual basis of accounting, so it shows some different things. It has the capital assets, bonds payable, pension liability, and the retirement obligation listed there. And then the next page is page 21. That's the statement of activities. So that's an income statement. Again, that's on the accrual basis of accounting. It's consolidated, consolidates everything together in one sheet. Page 21, you start on the left-hand side, work your way across, then you come down. Since it's consolidated, I usually don't spend a lot of time on it because there's just not much detail for everybody to look at. There's more in the report. You turn to page 22. This is the balance sheet for all the governmental funds. In government, you do fund accounting, so you have the general fund, which is the main operating fund of the county. That's where you budget everything. Debt service is where the treasurer levies to collect taxes and pay any jail bonds outstanding. And then capital projects is where you carry money for large projects that you have ongoing. And then special revenue is where you would have any grant projects outside of your normal operating activities. So on this page, in that first column, you have the general fund balance. Fund balance was at 16.4 million, and the unreserved portion was at 15.3.
David, let me just say before we leave that last year, the number for the unreserved fund balance was $14,033,124. So unreserved cash is up by about 1.3 million.
Correct, yes. County's doing very well financially, has ample reserves. As I've said before, the economy's been good, and as you have a good economy, you're building up your reserves, and then you have that money in reserve for capital projects or for that rainy day fund, which would hopefully never come, but you never know. And moving on, if you move on to page 25, this shows the budget actual for the general fund. Revenues came in with a positive variance of 2.1 million. Expenditures had an unfavorable variance of 1.6, but this also included economic development payments of $3 million.
Let me talk about that, David.
Yes, sir.
The county had in its reserve, and this shows up in previous audits, that we had $3.5 million, actually $3.25 billion that was left, which was a grant for Samsung to help purchase the building that they're in. The state and the South Carolina Power Team also helped purchase that building. I think it was about $14 million. The county held its grant money until Samsung reached its commitment on investment in jobs, which it has more than done by this time.
So when you include the economic development payment, the fund balance decreased 1.5 million. The county had budgeted to use 1.5 in reserve, so you came in pretty much on target with that, and so the fund balance into the year at 16.4 million, so a healthy fund balance for the county. Then you get into the footnotes. One of the footnotes I usually highlight is page 36. This shows all the long-term debt outstanding for the county. At year end, June 30th, there was 17.1 million outstanding. Of that, 11.7 was for the sales tax bond. The county, on page 37, has a limited borrowing capacity of 8%. The total debt limit is close to 12 million, but the county's only using 2.9 million. So again, another financial indicator. You have a strong fund balance, but you also have low debt when you look at it in comparison to your debt limit.
David, can I go back to page 25 for just a minute?
If you'd like to, yes, sir.
Yeah, back to page 25, at the very top line under revenue, the line for property taxes current. Give everybody a chance to get there, page 25 at the top. Property taxes current, the top line on that page, and this is a statement of revenue and expenditures. We budgeted $17,419,145 coming in from property tax revenue. We over-collected by $34,189. That is within 2/10. That means that the staff, and I look at Donna, I look at Karen, Debbie, Taylor, who's at home, estimated the value of the tax base that closely, and it's not the first time. They know what the tax base is worth, and that's worth something, I can tell you.
Yeah, very good on the budget figure there. If you move on to page 52, this is just a schedule of the post-retirement health insurance benefit. The calculation there, it shows the last 10 years. The actuaries compute how much they think it will cost in the future, and then you have the actual contribution. And because of that, you have a growing OPEB liability, meaning that in the future, those benefits might cost more than what you're paying now. And then on page 53, you have the schedule showing the share of the net pension liability for state retirement system. So there is a liability book. The county pays all of its retirement fees that are due. And that just shows that the state retirement system will probably be raising the contribution rates going forward to try and make sure they cover all the benefits they're paying out. And then starting on page 56, you have more of the detail for the items in the front. So if you have any questions at this time, I'd be glad to answer them.
On the unassigned, unreserved fund balance of $15,350,000 roughly, that equates to about 7 months of operating for county government in reserve. And I'm looking at Gordon Johnson, because I remember when I came here, and we were rubbing our last 2 dimes together, and we were borrowing money to make payroll. And you and I sat down, and we said, how are we going to fix this? How are we going to make this place solve it? And I remember you saying, Wayne, you figure that out and get back with me. I'm getting back with you tonight. We're at 7 months. We're doing good.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right, anybody got any questions for David?
No, but I just want to say, actually, that's amazing. Good job.
It is, and again, I think the teamwork, the dedication of the people that Wayne named, the commitment to save money by department heads, the employees, everybody working together is partially responsible for this. And then when you look at where we are in the state of the economy nationally and everything, for us to have that much of reserve to work with, that protects us for any unknowns that may be out there that could come about because of COVID or other things. I think we are in as good a financial shape as I can ever recall. So, and Debbie, you've been around here many more years than I have. Yeah, but I mean, this is probably about as good as we've had it in
Better than
history of the
like
county.
the bank panic of the 1870s, would you say? Okay.
All right. With that, David, thank you for your commitment to digging through our numbers and all too. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Item number 4, Resolution 1120, a resolution making application to the State Fiscal Accountability Authority of South Carolina for approval of the issuance by Newberry County, South Carolina, of a special source revenue bond, Series 2021, pursuant to the provisions of the Title 4, Chapter 1 and 29 of the Code of Laws of South Carolina, 1976, as amended in the principal amount of not exceeding $5,500,000. To explain that, Mr. Adams?
Yes, sir. This resolution pertains to a planned borrowing by the county. The repayment of that borrowing would come from our FILO stream, our fee in lieu of taxes payments that we receive from industry. The borrowed funding would be used for 2 purposes. One, to refinance the existing debt, remaining debt on the Mid-Carolina Commerce Park, and the second part, to purchase additional acreage in the vicinity of the Mid-Carolina Commerce Park for future industrial development. Now, unlike other types of borrowing, the state law requires that these special source revenue bonds be approved by the State Fiscal Accountability Authority. It used to be the State Budget Control Board. Now it's the SFAA. This form of indebtedness is provided for in state law. The original Mid-Carolina Commerce Park land purchase made in 2006 was made using the same method, although we went before the Budget and Control Board at that time rather than SFAA. The remaining debt on the Mid-Carolina Commerce Park is approximately $2.5 million, which would otherwise be paid in full by April of 2026 if we stayed on our current amortization schedule. Annual principal and interest payments total $455,000. In addition to refinancing this debt into a 20-year term, the county intends to finance the purchase of approximately 218 acres of additional land along Highway 773 adjacent to the Mid-Carolina Golf Course. Again, this property would be used for new industrial development. The properties being proposed for purchase are already under options that are assignable to the county at fixed prices. And those options, as I said, are assignable. The property has undergone due diligence by a qualified engineering firm, and they have deemed it suitable for industrial development. The property is located adjacent to industrial-grade infrastructure. The total purchase price of the additional land is $3,307,000. Cash would flow with the county initially purchasing the new property using its unassigned fund balance, which we talked about tonight, which is approximately $15.3 million. Once the special source revenue bonds are funded, which would be in about May, the county would reimburse itself for most of the cost of the new properties. Amortization for the combined borrowing, the refinancing of the remaining cost, and the new debt simultaneously would be approximately the same as the amortization that we are paying now for principal and interest, about $455,000 per year. The readings of the required ordinance are scheduled for early 2021. We are looking at January 20th, February 3rd, and February 17th, and would have a public hearing on the 17th. I can tell you the properties that we are looking at purchasing are tax map parcel 576-4. That's 193.3 acres at a cost of $2,522,000. Parcels 576-6 and 8, total 20 acres for $260,000. And a 4.6 acre parcel, which is parcel 576-9, would be purchased for $525,000. That parcel has a house on it, which is why it's so much more expensive. But again, this is 217.9 acres at $3,307,000. I'd be glad to answer any other questions about this. I think
Any
we
questions?
go before the SFAA on the 2nd of February, the 2nd or 3rd. But we've been putting our submission package together for several weeks now. Kara's been helping us with that. So has the auditor. We appreciate that very much. We think we're ready. We think we can demonstrate that we have the coverage with our philo stream to do this. Obviously, we do because we're doing it already now.
Any questions for Mr. Adams?
The other thing I will say, Mr. Chairman, this is preferable to going into cash. This property is going to create jobs for a generation of people. It's successful property. That's been demonstrated across the street at the existing Mid-Carolina Commerce Park. It can be paid for over time for that same reason. There's no reason to visit the cost of that on just the present council serving because you have other needs that you have to address, other service delivery requirements that you have to meet. And this is a balanced way of pursuing all those objectives.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Adams. All right, so that's the resolution. Following dates, I think you've seen where we'll actually be doing the readings required. Do we need to do anything to adopt the resolution, accept the resolution?
Just approve it, motion second.
Do we have someone who will approve the resolution? Mr. Coon, second by Mr. Stockman. Any discussion? One of the things I do want to say, Mike Briggs, who was Central SC CEO for quite some time, always used to say, and he passed this year, but he said if you don't have product, you're not in the game, basically. And this is product that puts us in the game. So I think whether you're, as we know, several of you are going off tonight, but this still helps y'all keep us in the game for years to come too. So you will be a part of what future economic development happens because of this. All in favor? It is unanimous. Item number 5, consideration to approve emergency transportation associates for an ambulance remount for EMS in the amount of $180,234.46. This price includes alternate pricing for a Stryker power stretcher, a Lucas 3 device, and a computer mount with all alternate pricing totaling $55,234.46. Ms. Crystal Waldrop, Purchasing Director.
Thank you. We solicited bids on November the 24th, and unfortunately, this is the first time I think I've ever seen one that was just one response, but we only had one response. Their bid came in at a base price of $125,000. The other items total $55,234.46. It is within budget, and EMS and Tommy and the staff at EMS have approved the specs. They do meet the specs. So staff does recommend the bid be awarded to Emergency Transportation Associates.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Have any questions?
I can say if I may, that the last time we bought one, it was $172,000. So it's increased about $8,000.
Do we have a motion to accept the, by Mr. Coons, second by Mr. Kane? Any discussion? All in favor? It is unanimous.
Thank you.
Item number 6, consideration of the 2021 County Council meeting schedule. Code Section 30-4-80 of the South Carolina Code of Laws provides that the public bodies such as county councils must give written public notice of their regular meetings at the beginning of each calendar year. Note, the new schedule of meetings sets a 6 p.m. starting time rather than 7. Just to comment a little bit further on that, that was asked by future council members, so they had input into this time. So that's why it's going from 6 to 7. I mean, from 7 to 6. So all in favor of the new? Well, we have a motion to accept the new schedule. Motion by Mr. Coons, second by Mr. Stockman. Any discussion? All in favor? It is unanimous. All right, item number 7, consideration of the 2021 County Council Committee meeting schedule. Code Section 30-4-80A of the South Carolina Code of Laws provides for the public bodies such as council committees must give written public notice of their regular meetings at the beginning of each calendar year. Note, the new schedule of meetings sets a 6 p.m. starting time for all committee meetings. Previously, starting times for committee meetings had varied. All right, again, same thing. All the new council members were polled, and this is the outcome of what the wishes are, and hopefully this will meet community citizens better when they're just getting off work and come on over or whatever. So do we have a motion to approve this? Motion by Mr. Stockman, second by Mr. Kane. Any discussion? All in favor? It is unanimous. All right, consideration of a fiscal year 2021 budget calendar. Debbie Cromer, Finance Director.
The calendar is in your packet. It was approved by the Finance Committee meeting last night. And it's to change from, it's just a schedule, it could change this time.
All right, again, the Finance Committee did meet last night, approved it, you know, obviously knowing that with the times that we're in right now, anything is subject to change. So, do we have a motion to accept the budget calendar? Motion by Mr. Coons, second by Mr. Stockman. All in favor? It is unanimous. Discussion of achievements of outgoing council members.
Chairman, we've got 4 members who are attending their last meeting tonight. We have Dr. Harriet Rucker, who has served for 4 years. Mr. Scott Kane has served for 8 years. Steve Stockman and Kirksey Kuhn have served for 12 years. As a group, they have made quite a significant impact on Newberry County, and I think there's some things that we ought to remind ourselves of in terms of their accomplishments. You leave us tonight with the lowest combined county council tax levy that Newberry County has had in 15 years. This does not include the school taxes or municipal taxes, just the taxes that you have control over as county council. The current levies are 25 mills lower than they were in 2008 when Mr. Kuhn and Mr. Stockman came on. 25 mills, quite an accomplishment. A 25 mill reduction. Each of you played a role. I want to talk about some economic development stuff now. Each of you played a role in bringing Samsung's first North American appliance plant to Newberry in 2017. In fact, this plant is Samsung's first non-semiconductor plant in North America. Today, this facility employs well over 1,000 people and represents $500 million of investment. It's still growing. It was the economic development project of the year for our entire state for 2017. Earlier this year, KRA, the first of many Samsung suppliers that will be coming to Newberry County, opened its doors. This is a metal stamping company. They started with 54 employees. They already have 110. By summer of 2021, its building in the Mid-Carolina Commerce Park will triple in size, and they will have more than 200 employees. BMW has been around for a long time. They've been building cars in South Carolina since 1994. But it was not until the time of this council and these members, in 2017 specifically, that we opened the first BMW supplier plant in Newberry County. MM Technics is a German stamping company that resides in the Mid-Carolina Commerce Park and employs more than 50 workers. BMW X Series vehicles around the world, if you see one anywhere you are, has parts in it from Prosperity, South Carolina. Tonight and before, you've already taken action to ensure Newberry County's economic development future by obtaining purchase options on an additional 218 acres across from the Mid-Carolina Commerce Park. Again, this property is already past due diligence. We have fixed price, and we have a budget and plans to take it down, and we already have companies looking at it. There are 2 companies have looked at it before we've even made the purchase. But it is ready to buy, and all the homework has been done. In 2010, council made capital project sales tax history. We were the first county ever to have on the ballot a technical college campus as an item for expenditure. We took an abandoned shopping center, you guys did, and turned it into a really spectacular technical college. You had to change state law to do this. Among other things, the campus now allows for completion of a degree in mechatronics, which is the gold standard for industrial workplace education. In 2013, the new Piedmont Tech campus in Newberry won a statewide competition among South Carolina counties. I want to talk about law enforcement and public safety a little bit. First item is another penny sales tax item in 2016. You successfully sponsored the new 800 megahertz emergency services radio system, which ended decades of patchwork emergency services communications and made citizens, law enforcement, and emergency first responders far safer. In 2014, our sheriff's department was housed in a prefab mobile unit park out next to its current location on Wilson Road. Without raising the tax levy, you used $3.5 million without creating any indebtedness. You converted the old armory building there that Piedmont Tech left into a modern sheriff's office and added to it a state-of-the-art emergency operations center with dispatch and 911. Just 1 year ago, you took very decisive action when the Sheriff's Department could not find enough deputies to staff its law enforcement function here in Newberry County. Experienced personnel were going to work in other counties. Trained new hires were impossible to find because of the wages we were paying. You approved a 16% increase in law enforcement payroll, including a $7,000 pay raise for new certified deputies, and helped the sheriff cure this problem. For months now, the Newberry County Sheriff's Office has been fully staffed and morale within the department has greatly improved. In 2019, you established the Newberry County Emergency Services Training Ground at the old Newberry County Fairgrounds and provided $100,000 for facility improvements to get that transformation started. Since 2008, you have consistently funded a rolling lease purchase program for fire, rescue, and hazmat. Over that time, you have provided emergency services with more than $2.5 million in new trucks and other equipment. And in FY 15-16, you began funding a stipend for firefighters and other first responders that pays these volunteers $500 per year to offset the costs they incur and thank them for their dedication. These are just a few things that I thought of. There are about a dozen here, and there are probably at least a dozen more. And I just want to say thank you for your service, and you've made a really impressive mark on Newberry County. We're better for your time here.
Wayne, thank you for putting that together. Y'all, this is very impressive, and again, it's even more impressive when you look at it tonight and you look at the budget audit and you see that we've got the lowest millage rate that we've had in a number of years. We've got one of the highest reserve fund accounts that allows us to have the opportunity to continue to expand for economic development. You hear he talks about stuff that with safety, emergency, law enforcement, we've been able to accomplish a lot of goals there with that. And to keep a budget like we have, each and every one of you can walk away here tonight proud of what you have accomplished. And it's a great series of years with, I think I originally had about 36 years of service amongst the ones just walking away from here tonight. As I said, what we've talked about, it gives all of us great pride to award and recognize the people who service in the number of years, but it also gives great pride to know that this group of council members have had all those accomplishments. And as Mr. Adams and I said, some of the things that we might have left out were like some of the expansions and stuff that's going on during that time period. But again, I just take great pride in being part of this group of people that's been here, that will be walking away tonight. And also, again, thank you, and thank you. Item number 10, appointments. None. Committee reports, Economic Development Committee, 1207, Carol Cannon.
The Economic Development Committee met on Monday, December 7th at 7 p.m. Those present were myself, Rick Farmer, the director, Susan Fellers, clerk to council, Mr. Adams, the administrator, Mr. Stockman, chairman of the committee, Dr. Rucker, and Mr. Livingston. The committee approved the September 28th, 2020 minutes, and there were no public comments. The staff report consisted of a project update, which included 4 new projects this last quarter: Tiger, Graham, Sunrise, and Shot 2. Those were discussed in further detail in executive session. A product development update, where we talked about Newberry South Industrial Site, which was part of the Duke Site Readiness Program. The county holds options on that property, and all due diligence has been completed, and we're currently awaiting a final report from the Palmetto Sites Program. Mid-Carolina Commerce Park expansion, as you well know that we're beginning the process of accessing the other half of the industrial park. The funding for that is in the advanced stages. And then the last portion of the staff report was prospect development, which included an international video conference with a Korean prospect in October, a PPE manufacturer considering opening a facility in South Carolina, a video conference with 6 Korean prospects, which is set for December 16th, which is today, but Mr. Farmer is home with COVID, so he was not able to participate. And then it's mostly follow-ups from a 2019 Korean mission that Mr. Farmer took part in. And lastly, Rick participated in an international video conference in October through the Central SC Alliance that targeted German manufacturers. Mr. Meinhof Muir of MM Technics spoke and delivered a testimonial about his success at doing business in Newberry. Other items included in this committee meeting were updates on a career event for 10th graders in Newberry and Lawrence County that we are planning in conjunction with other partners like Mr. Kane and the state regional workforce advisor. Notification of PCA's closure, which was November 22nd. The building is now being marketed as of last week, and recent existing industry visits have been conducted with Komatsu, SWM, Arctic Chill, Merchants Food Service, Industrial Pine Products, Samsung, and Big Gun Robotics. The committee then entered into an executive session. There were no comments and no actions taken during this meeting.
Thank you, Kara.
And
Any
thank
questions
you
for
all
Kara?
for your tremendous amount of support for economic development. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Kara. Item number 2, Finance Committee, 12-15-20, Ms. Debbie Cromer, Finance Director.
The finance committee met on the Tuesday, December 15th, and the items discussed were the annual audit report, which was on the agenda, as well as the budget calendar.
Thank you. Any questions for Debbie or comments from the committee? Hearing none, we'll move on. Executive session, which is not needed tonight. Do we have anybody signed up for public comments? Comments, requests from the county administrator.
I have none, sir.
Comments, requests from council members. Mr. Scurry.
Enjoyable year of work with council. Y'all were dedicated people for Newberry County. You have shown us approval beyond reasonable doubt. It hurts to say you're taking a vacation off. I don't take lightly leaving. I hope and pray they have picked someone that's come up to y'all's standards and dedication and approval for Newberry County. God bless y'all. Keep your heads up. Thank you.
Dr. Rucker.
Well, I don't really know where to start. I have served on many boards, both elected and appointed. And this, I think, has been my best experience. This council, this administration, and the employees of Newberry County have made me so proud. The council has worked, for the most part, well together. We were able to have our differences. We have been able to talk through our differences, and we've come to good decisions. And that's the way government should work. I am proud of our other elected officials and how they've worked with the council and how we've been able to work with them. I am extremely proud of our administration. I I just can't say enough of what I've learned from them. And how much Wayne Adams has meant to this county. When we look back at our past and see how many changes we've had in administrators, and to know the knowledge he has of government and how he's shared that with us. I have loved working with the council members. And they're true friends. And I'm going to miss them, miss seeing them, miss being with them. They have taught me so much. And my prayers will always be for our county government. And my prayers will always be for Newberry County. This is a great place. And I pray that our new council will keep marching and make us even stronger. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Reber. Mr. Reader, if you're looking, we miss your smile and your comments and your deep voice, but I hope you're feeling better and getting well. So we'll pass over you straight to Mr. Scott Kane.
Yes, sir. First, I'd like to start off by thanking all the constituents in District 1 for allowing me to represent them for 8 years. My dad always said, always try to leave it a little bit better place when you do something, and I think by the comments tonight that you can see that it is. There's still a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of improvements like there always is, but I think we're moving in the right direction and doing the right thing. But I do want to thank District 1, all the constituents from Whitmire to Mabington to all the farmers to Consolidated to Bush River, to allow me to represent them. It's been a wonderful experience, and I really thank you for doing that. As sitting here, I've always, there's 3 professions out there that are probably the bedrock of our community, that are the most underappreciated sometimes and certainly underpaid. I'll start with the teachers. That profession, they guide our culture in the next direction. They run our society. They teach our adults, both young and old, how to be prosperous citizens, and how to be successful, and how to improve everything that we have, that we've built on. And it's a constant building process. So they're not always recognized, but they're, especially during this pandemic with COVID, there are some unsung heroes out there that absolutely deserve praise and thank you for everything that they have been doing and are doing in the future. The second kind of leg in our stool is first responders, fire, rescue, EMS. They're underappreciated until you need them. And then you can't have too many of them and they can't get there too quick. So Tommy, thank you for everything you do. Please pass along to all the fire, rescue, and EMS folks the deep appreciation. We were able to give a start a $500 stipend for those that met the qualifications, and I hope we can do more in the future, but that's at least that's a starting point, and I think it's a step in the right direction. That and funding for vehicles and support, and I think we actually were able to provide personal protection equipment for all the interior firefighters, so they only had their own gear instead of having to grab a set of gear off of a truck that's not fitted to them, that's not theirs, that they haven't cleaned, and so they don't know who's used it before. So we've been able to do that, which is, I think, paramount to safety and quality of and appreciation for all of our first responders out there. And lastly, but certainly not least, because we can't do anything without them, is our security. So Ben, thank you, and thank the sheriff. I'll do every time I see him that for what we have in our county, for the security, we can't do any of this. We can't have open forums. We can't speak our mind. We can't live our life the way we do without security. And we sure take it for granted until we need it. And then we need them, and we need a lot of them. We need them fast. But they're probably all three of those professions are very unappreciated, and but they're the most, and they drive a community. I've seen nations that don't have one of those, and they're not anywhere what we call civilized in the way we do things. For the sheriff's department and all of our folks who are able to give us, I think, a little over a 16% raise during this past couple of years, and that's pretty outstanding. It gets us at least somewhat on par with Lexington and some of our other counties. So we have 100% retention rate, and we're able to, between that and morale, well, if we can look after them. So again, Ben, thank you for everything you do. Thanks for all our law enforcement, first responders, and teachers. Thirdly, I'd like to congratulate Todd Johnson for taking over my position here. He won the election and will be stepping in and filling this seat in January. Long-time Newberry, and really is going to do an outstanding job, so I wish him well. And again, Todd, congratulations. You deserve it, and I think it's going to bode well for the county with your leadership sitting here. And lastly, I'd just like to send our prayers to Travis with the COVID. I know that Curtsy said he just had headaches and wasn't feeling good, but that disease is non-predictable, and I just wish him well, and can't wait to talk with him and get him back on the bench next year. So again, y'all have a thank you again for allowing me to be here for 8 years. I've had 34 years in the military and now 8 years on county council. So I think that's I appreciate the opportunity to serve in that capacity. And Merry Christmas, and everybody have a Happy New Year.
Scott, thank you. You don't realize you did it, but you did a perfect segue into Travis. He actually texted something in, so he wants to be heard through the voice of Wayne tonight, so.
I'm gonna do my best, Travis. Okay. I hate that I'm not able to be with you tonight, but I did want to let each council member who is leaving know that I have truly enjoyed the commitment each of them has shown for Newberry County and the district they represent. Please stay in the public eye and continue to use the gift that each of you can bring to the citizens of Newberry as well as other places. Each of you please have a wonderful holiday season with your families and continue to prosper and stay COVID-free. I will miss working with you all.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Travis. All right, Mr. Stockman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank the citizens in District 2 for entrusting me to be your voice on council for the past 12 years. It has been an honor, a privilege, and kind of overwhelming, but I'll get through this. 12 years is a long time, and I'm going to miss it. But it's been an honor and a privilege in which I will always be grateful for. I've learned a lot about county government, met a lot of great people, I've enjoyed, excuse me, it's unreal. It's a moment. But I have truly enjoyed working with my fellow council members, Administrator Adams and staff. We have accomplished a lot and worked hard to make sure Newberry County remains a great place to live, work, and raise a family. Didn't know it was gonna be this tough.
It's hard.
I wish all the best to Mary, the existing and incoming council members. Ending, I'll just say, may God continue to bless the people of this great county. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Kirksey?
As the other three members of council that are going to leave us tonight, or at least by the first of the year, I'm also very proud to have served on county council. And I want to thank the people of Newberry County for giving me 12 years. That's a gift that you have given me that I'll carry with me the rest of my life. I hope and I pray that the incoming newly elected council members will work as hard as the four that are leaving and the ones before that. We've had a lot of good accomplishments. We've done a lot of good things, and we're leaving the county in great shape. But that's not all our part. For our county administrator, his staff, all the other elected and appointed officials, and our hard-working county employees. They're the backbone of this county. They're the ones that tote that torch every day. Thank y'all for what you do and what you have done. During my lifetime, there was a comedian years ago by the name of Red Skelton. And at the end of his program that he had on TV for many, many years, he always closed with God bless. So God bless Newberry County, and God bless the United States of America. And I hope that we can continue to live within our means and spend our county funds wisely. Thank you for the privilege. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Harriet, Scott, Steve, Kirksey. As you say, Steve, it's pretty hard to see people that you've worked with walk away tonight from a role that they have, obviously, as you can tell by their testaments tonight, have put a great amount of pride into, worked hard for, sacrificed for, and all. From those of us who are here, we will miss you. Hopefully you won't be strangers, whether it be on the phone or coming to meetings, or hopefully we'll have economic development opportunities and announcements. I would hope that, as some of former council members have shown up at some of the meetings, I would hope that y'all would come, because again, as I stated a while ago, with some of the things that we've done, y'all are part of still and will be for a while when you look at the amount of land that we have that will be used for future development for our future generations. I mean, again, your legacy will continue. Our citizens, I've heard many times over, with the initiative to try to enhance law enforcement, as I think Scott said a while ago, feel more protected than ever in a time where you hear so much on a national level of defunding. We were able to increase funding and provide security, I think stability, more so within our county with keeping the same law enforcement officers in place. You have also been part of increasing the average income for the citizens of Newberry County. I think the average income has increased probably $4 or $5 an hour.
Over the 12 years, certainly.
Yes. Which means a better quality of life for the citizens that we have. Not only I want to thank you all, I want to thank your spouses. Teresa, I think you're the only one here tonight in the audience, but thank the spouses for the sacrifices that they made. All the family, because there are times when you don't get to go to the church play, you don't get to go to the baseball game, the basketball game, the soccer game, whatever. There are a lot of sacrifices that people don't see that you have made for this county. And I don't take that lightly because I know each and every one of you here are very family oriented. And so those sacrifices are great. Some of the stuff that we have put in place will allow, hopefully, advantages for the future generations to stay here in Newberry County versus having to go way off to get a job, and they can be more of a family unit right here at home. I think the COVID situations that we're in 2020 only magnify the value of having family close by to help take care of and be around. So again, the legacy that's left by all of you will continue for generations to come, probably even for many years, not only beyond your service time, but many years beyond our life expectancy. So I can't see how any of you can leave here tonight without being able to go home and look in the mirror and feel extremely proud of the accomplishments. I think, I don't know who said it, Scott, Harriet, somebody said something about work out our differences. One person that I value greatly in my career who always said that too much agreement breeds mediocrity. And I think good intellectual discussion on things that you feel that are good, whether everybody agrees or not, it at least deserves being presented. And I think we had a forum when nobody felt intimidated by at least presenting what they wanted. And again, I could go on and on and on encapsulating 36 years of service to this county, but I guess we've been in this meeting for about an hour now. Again, I could go on and on, but I just want to say again, thank you for each and every one of you, not only as a council member that worked with y'all, but from the citizens of this county who are, I think, much better off than when any of you came on the board. And again, the web is there for us to have continued growth and prosperity in this county. And again, with God's grace, I think that will happen. So again, thank each and every one of you. Anything else, Wayne?
Yes, sir.
All right, future meetings, County Council, 01/06/21, 6 p.m. County Council, 01/20/21, 6 p.m. Public Safety and Courts Committee, 01/25, 6 p.m. At least everything is going to be at 6 p.m. now, so just show up at 6 p.m. With that, we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We'll adjourn.